Welcome, one and all, to the following segment of enjoyment and an escape from reality. But beware, the show you are about to bear witness to will not hold back when it comes to spoilers, language, and things not appropriate for work or children. If you continue on, we hope that you laugh at the banter, that you are thrilled by the topic of discussion, and marvel at the host's dedication to their craft, because you can only get that type of treatment here at Monster Madness. You have been warned.
Guy Lapointe, that is my name, Guy Lapointe, and I spent 20 years as the inspector of the Sûreté du Québec. But for the last 10 years of my life, I have been hunting an animal who is doing the masquerade as the man. I have been hunting this Howard Howe, this elusive devil made of the flesh, this serial killer who makes the bringing of the blood and terror to the true north. I am very dedicated man, and I have sacrificed my life to many marriages, any chance at happiness, and very likely, some may say, my sanity, all in the pursuit of this butcher of the man. And because of this, the solace of the sleep most of the time eludes me. But last night after you called me, I sleep like the breastfed baby. And I wake up this morning in the morning, and I know that in my bones, my quarry is close. And he is so close that I can almost smell his shit. Pardon my French.
Hi, hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Monster Madness, a podcast dedicated to all sorts of creatures, features, and beyond. I'm Erica, and joined with me is a man who is super duper mad at me tonight, my beautiful co-host, Matthew. Hi, Matt.
Hi.
You can find Monster Madness on all your favorite podcasting platforms, social media sites, and things of that nature. Matt does stream video games and drum sessions from time to time, so you can check that out on our Twitch channel. If you'd like to support our show, you can do so in many different ways, such as buying merch, donating to the show, or simply leaving a review on your favorite podcasting provider. Those 5 stars go a long way, and if you decide to write something, we will read it on the show. All the links will be posted in the show notes. Sorry, I got distracted because we actually made a new friend, Matthew.
Yay!
We just became BFFs with the Graveyard Club podcast. They're super nice. They want to collab with us at some point. I think they thought they were talking to you mainly, but I hate to break it to them. You're always talking to me.
Doesn't
Matt
sound like the
do
first
shit.
time that's happened. Hey! Whoa.
No, I'm just kidding. You show up and you look really cute.
That's
No,
about all
most
I do
people
these days.
think they're talking to you. I cannot tell you how many times people are like, hey, bro, love the show. I'm like, hey, man, this is Erica, but thanks, broski.
I mean, you can be a bro, I guess.
Oh, no, totally. I call girls bro all the time.
Yeah.
I find it endearing. Or dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are a Irish horror movie podcast. I believe one of the last things they did, they have a post about a Phantom in the Opera NECA toy that looks fucking sweet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They do really awesome like themes, like their top 5 silent movies. They do, movie reviews of like new things that come out, older stuff that I'm seeing. I'm really enjoying it. Top 5 horror directors. I'm really enjoying their show now that I have discovered it. And they've been listening to us and they genuinely like us. So friends, hello friends. We shout out people on this show.
I also love Irish whiskey, so there's that.
There you go. They gave us 5 stars on Spotify as well.
Well, that means we gotta go return the favor.
I did. And I subbed to their YouTube, which I will post in the show notes for this episode, the link to the Graveyard Club's YouTube channel. So, because I'm a nice person. Not really. But Matt, you got anything? You got any housekeeping? I'm going to start inserting the soundbite of David Spade
want me
saying,
pillow?
housekeeping?
Go away.
For the love of God! Housekeeping! Do you know that was like an actual bit that David Spade used to do to Chris Farley, and he would fall for it almost every day.
I think I heard that somewhere. I think what David Spade was on like Your Mom's House or some shit. Or Two Bears.
It was either that or like Howard Stern or something I saw it on. He was like, yeah, every day. He's like, Chris, it's me. Every day. Who do you think it is? Like, you only work with me. I love it. All right. Well, on this episode of Monster Madness, I've been waiting for this for a while since I found out Matthew's hate of it, his deep, utter hate of something he hadn't even seen yet. We are going to cover 2014's Tusk.
I forget your name.
My name? Howard Howe.
Howard, I can't feel my legs.
Well, that would be the spinal injection, you see. The little recluse sank her fangs into you and filled you with so much poison that your ankle was the size of an elephant's leg.
Oh, shit. What kind of elephant?
A very fat one.
Shit.
Yeah. So, with the venom traveling to your heart, it forced the doctor to save your life, to take rather, as we say, drastic measures.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Holy shit! There's no leg there.
Doesn't appear to be. Just let it out, dear boy. Let it all out.
My leg is off! Oh my God!
Nature can be very red in tooth and claw.
What?
Tennyson.
The fuck are you talking about? Why am I still here? Why aren't I in the hospital?
Well, hospitals carry diseases, so Dr. Musi felt it would best if you were to stay here since the room is sanitized all day. Why, it'd be best if you recuperate here.
It doesn't make any sense.
The spider bit you.
All right, I want to talk to this guy. Where's the doctor? I want to talk to him.
Well, doctor's making his rounds.
Rounds? What rounds? We're in the middle of nowhere!
Oh, no. No, we're not. No, we're not, Mr. Brighton. I've been to the middle of nowhere, and it is a ghastly place.
I don't want to hear your fucking stories. What the fuck is this?
You're funny. Well, that's the belt to keep you from falling out of your chair, you see.
Why?
The belt is to keep you from falling over until the spinal wears off. Spinal wears off and you gain full control of your faculties again. That is, most of your faculties.
I need a phone. I gotta call my family.
Dr. Musi removed all the phones from the house. He didn't want you disturbed.
What the fuck?
So I'll talk to him and I can ask him if you can call home after supper.
No, I gotta call.
So it'd be best if you take a nap. You're heavily tranquilized.
I gotta tell my family. I gotta use a phone. I gotta talk to a doctor.
Tusk has a runtime of 1 hour and 42 minutes. It is rated R. It was released in Canada at the Toronto International Film Festival on September 6, 2014, and then in the United States on September 18th at the Fantastic Fests, and then released nationally on the following day. It was produced by Smodcast Pictures. It was distributed, which surprised me. I did not remember this from my first viewing. It was distributed by A24, which, you know, they have some fucking gems out of that studio. And it was filmed from November 4th, 2013 to November 22nd, 2013. So it was only a 15-day shoot to do this entire movie. It was directed by Kevin Smith and written by Kevin Smith. It stars Michael Parks, Justin Long, Genesis Rodriguez, Haley Joel Osment, Johnny Depp, Harley Mornstein, Ralph Garman, Jennifer Schwabach, Harley Quinn Smith, Lily Rose Depp, and Ashley Greene. Some taglines for the film are, "Let me tell you a story, ... A truly transformative tale. All that separates man from animal are the stories he tells. And lastly, man is the most dangerous animal." Matt, what was the budget?
It was $3 million.
Yep.
$3 million they spent on this.
Yep.
And it only made 1.9 million because it's a bad movie.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that much of a flop.
Yep, it's awful. It performed awfully. Let's make a sequel.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't necessarily make a sequel to it. It's like his Canadian trilogy. They're in the same universe, but like not necessarily connected.
I thought that there was some grumblings of a Tusk 2, not the spin-off of the daughters, because you and I have talked about the movie, and I didn't hate that movie.
It's so funny to me that you don't hate Yoga Hosers, but you hate Tusk.
I forgot it was called Yoga Hosers, so thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, Kevin Smith says Tusk 2 will be called Tusks, and he's aiming for a 2024 release. I don't know when this was written in September of 2022. I mean, he also said that Moose Jaws was going to come out in 2024, and there's been no rumblings of that, and it's, July when we're recording this, so.
Right. And you made an earlier statement, which I will comment on later, about my actually liking Yoga Hosers and not liking this one.
Okay. The plot of Tusk is as follows. Best friends Wally Brighton and Teddy Kraft host a podcast called the Nazi Party, where they interview eccentric people. Nazi is not spelled Nazi, but not as in N-O-T dash C-S-E-E.
If you have to explain that away as much as they have to explain that away, it's a bad name.
Oh, I know, but,
I'm just taking my jabs when they come up.
So people don't think that's fine.
No. I'm not talking about you. You were literally reiterating what they have to do in the movie. But
Wallace flies to Canada to interview the Kill Bill Kid, who has become an internet sensation due to a viral video of him accidentally severing his leg with a katana, which had been publicized by Wallace's and Teddy's coverage of it. Wallace's girlfriend, Allie, stays behind. Upon arriving in Manitoba, he learns that the Kill Bill Kid has died by suicide. Determined not to waste his trip, Wallace tries to find another person to interview. He finds a flyer from someone offering a room in his home for free and the guarantee of hearing interesting stories. Intrigued, he arrives at the mansion of Howard Howe, a retired seaman in a wheelchair. Listen, we're podcasters, right?
Yeah.
You're at a horror convention. You go to take a leak, and on the wall it says, "Want to hear interesting stories? I would love to be interviewed. I'd love to talk to you." Are you coming to me and presenting this, being like, "Hey, this seems cool. Let's do it for the show"?
Yeah, when was the last time I made a decision that regarded our show that I didn't ask you about?
I don't remember.
Never. I don't think I ever have. But even if it had nothing to do with our show and I was drunk and needed someone to tell me if it was a bad idea, like you're one of the 3 people I would ask. So
Me? Melissa? Your mom?
No.
Yeah.
No, not my mom.
Who's the third?
Oh, probably your friend of the show, Seth. Depends on the topic of what might get, like, where it might go.
I really enjoy the scoff at Cheryl.
What?
Nope.
Just because what part of you thinks my mom
I'm
is
a
gonna...
grown man.
Okay, so then I'd have to explain to my mom that I'm at a horror convention. I'm drunk in a bathroom, considering going over to a stranger's house to talk. Do you know how much explaining I would have to do?
Oh, Maddie Pooh, that sounds interesting, but I'm just having trouble with my junk folder right now.
Well, that's the fucking thing. Hey, she never called me Maddie Pooh, but she would literally hear what I had to say, tell me it was a bad idea, and then just start telling me about her day. So,
Did I really hit it? Did I hit the nail on the head with that?
I mean,
Is that what
pretty
she
fucking
does?
close.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually, why isn't this picture printing, or why isn't my email working?
What is her nickname for you?
She's called me Maddie before. Usually it's just Matt. I don't like, it's not like Sugar Plum, some shit like that.
Sugar Plum Boo Boo.
Yeah, no, nothing like that.
Well, it's Maddie Pooh in my heart.
That's fine. I've been called worse.
Mikey calls me Eri. He always has.
He's just over there scratching records. Eri.
Eri, Now I'm never going to not think about that. He did try for like 3 days to call me Ricky, and I was like, Dad, it's not working. I liked it, but it wasn't vibing. I was too old at that point because his brother's name was Eric and they all called him Ricky. I was like, there's not a good connotation here because my uncle was kind of a drunk and he died from liver failure. So, like, it wasn't a good vibe. But I didn't hate it. I don't mind when people call me Error. Some people hate that. They're like, oh, it just sounds like a noise. I'm like, oh, well, what the fuck? Ricka? What else are you going to call me? Like, Erica? Like, just fucking Error works. He calls me Eri. That's the only thing. Or Babushka. So that'll get...
Good one.
Yeah, Babushka, and then it'll get shortened down to Bush or Boosh. Stop it. Howard tells the story of how a walrus whom he named Mr. Tusk rescued him after a shipwreck. Wallace passes out from the secobarbital laced in the tea Howard made for him. Did I pronounce that right? The fuck is that?
Secobarbital?
Thank you.
It's
the next
barbital.
morning...
I'm getting to the fucking bottom of this.
Okay.
Yeah, I was hoping Wikipedia would have like an explanation. Like pronunciation. It just says secobarbital, sodium salt. Treatment for insomnia. Huh. So, okay. Yeah, whatever. I tried.
The next morning, Wallace wakes up to find himself strapped into a wheelchair and his left leg amputated. Howard tells Wallace that a brown recluse spider bit his leg and the amputation was necessary to save his life. Howard then reveals that he can still walk and lays out his plans to fit Wallace into a perfectly constructed walrus costume in an attempt to recreate Mr. Tusk. Allie and Teddy, who are having an affair, each ignore their phones when Wallace calls them for help. After leaving voicemails for them, Wallace is knocked unconscious by Howard. Now aware that Wallace is in danger, Allie and Teddy fly to Canada. Back at the mansion, Howard continues to mutilate and alter Wallace while relaying his backstory. A duplicitous orphan following his parents' murder, he was physically and sexually abused for 5 years by the clergy who fostered him, leaving him with severe misanthropy. He attaches Wallace to a walrus costume made of human skin with his tongue removed so he is incapable of speech, and the skin of his armpits and elbow pits are fused to his torso, leaving only his forearms being able to move. Howard also attaches tusks made from Wallace's severed tibia bones to Wallace's new form, in such a manner that Wallace will heal into it, rendering it a permanent part of his body. Now, real quick, on paper, this sounds horrifying.
Yeah.
On paper. I'm just saying, while watching this for the second time, I remember the same thought popped into my brain. If this was done better and the suit itself didn't look so corny, this would be a legit horror movie. This would have been really fucked up. Like Human Centipede level fucked up, and I've refused to watch that.
Right. So, and I feel like if Tusk handles this more from that angle, it might be good. It's not that the story was bad. Like, fuck, I need to wait so you can finish the fucking plot, and then I can give my my TED Talk on this movie.
That's fine. I just wanted to snip it. A local detective puts Allie and Teddy in touch with Gurl Lapointe, a former inspector of Quebec who has been hunting Howard for years. Lapointe explains that Howard is nicknamed the First Wife, has been kidnapping and murdering people for years. He believes Wallace may still be alive, but not as they remember him. Howard conditions Wallace to think and behave like a walrus. Now, mind you, he's been only in this man's captive for maybe 3 days. I just want to throw that out there. This isn't months. This is like 72 hours. And I would like to think that my mental wherewithal is a little bit stronger than 72 hours of just completely breaking and being like, I'm a fucking walrus now.
Or take into account the fact that all of this, all these major surgeries were performed within 72 hours. Like, I don't think a human body could handle that amount of trauma without time to heal and survive. So
that's what I literally
there's a lot
said.
of issues.
Yeah. Howard reveals that shortly before being rescued, he had killed and eaten Mr. Tusk to survive. Overcome with guilt, he has spent the last 15 years turning his victims into his beloved savior in an attempt to relive their last day and give Mr. Tusk another chance at survival. With Howard dressed in his homemade pelt, the two engage in a fight that ends when Wallace impales Howard with his tusks. Howard dies satisfied that he has fulfilled his life's mission at last. LaPointe, Allie, and Teddy enter the Enclave as Wallace bellows victoriously. LaPointe aims a gun at him to put Wallace out of his horrific misery, much to Allie's horror. 1 year later, Wallace, still living as a walrus, lives in a wildlife sanctuary. Allie and Teddy visit him and feed him a mackerel. In a flashback, Allie tells Wallace that her grandfather once told her that crying is what separates humans from animals. Allie tearfully tells Wallace she still loves him before leaving. Wallace cries as he bellows, implying that he has retained some of his humanity. And that, my friends, is Tusk. So, Matt, tell me all your feelings about Tusk. I'm ready.
Well, I hate you for making me watch this. I avoided it for long enough.
10 years.
Yeah. So, like, some of the humor at the beginning wasn't awful, and it wasn't offensive. And then it just took, like, such an awful fucking turn in the worst way possible. Like, I like Justin Long as an actor. I thought he was a truly horrible in this movie. I thought the character was stupid. I get what the character was supposed to be. I just didn't care for it. So then when the movie, it started to suck, in my opinion, it just made everything, it's very downhill when I start to not like something. So, yeah. And I think, like, it could have been shortened a lot. I don't think there was a lot of shit that didn't need to be there. I think, like, yes, I enjoyed Yoga Hosers and that came out of this, but the amount of time that his daughter was in this movie, like, it didn't fucking need to be there. Like, it existed to give her a movie later. That's it.
Yeah.
Which, fine, you can do that, but it's just like, if this would have been an hour probably would have been ideal, but even get down to like an hour 20, 25, excluding
it's a television episode anymore.
No, it's not. But it's just like, I don't know. There was just so much dumb shit. And I feel like we talked about before, is like, this happens so quickly. And how would you even survive? I get it. He's turning a man into a fucking walrus. Like, none of this is real. It's make believe, it's a movie. But just like, give me something to, like, not make it seem so fucking out of the realm of possible.
Yeah, the physicality of it, I've always questioned, like, how his body was morphed into that at all. Like, right. I get the fusing. I can understand that. I'm with you. Yeah. Cutting off the legs, cutting out the tongue, inserting the tusks. I felt like he should have I feel like I'm probably thinking too much into it. I literally think that he just sewed him into the pelt that he wears later and that he can just easily get in and out of. But it's so confusing the way that, like, you see him just, like, cutting him up. It's like, well, is that all of him? Or is he just in a pelt and he's just kind of trapped inside the pelt because he has no fucking legs and his arms are fused down, which is what I'm assuming. But then the face doesn't really make sense. Like, where is his hair?
Right. Howie makes a comment about how, like, oh, with some adjustments, you'll fit perfectly into the suit. Yeah. So, like, he says that there's a suit, but he's cutting him up. Like, all you would have had to do is you could cut the legs off. You could, it's not like fucking straight serial killer shit as I'm running this in my head. Cut them off at the knees so you still get your tusks. Shit, or even do the fucking hips. Who gives a fuck? But then make him paralyzed from whatever down. So he can still use his arms to walk around, but he's still dragging his lower half. You can still put the tusks in. It, like, I don't know. Am I asking for too much?
No. But the only reason I don't think it's a suit, because if it was a suit, why wouldn't they take him out of it at the end and then just rehabilitate him? Because so now what? He's just pissing and shitting inside of a suit forever? Like, that's, like, not, like, where is it going? The science isn't there. The science isn't science.
We've already tried to make too much sense out of something that clearly it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that in a bad way.
Yeah, no.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Things that I liked about it, Guy Lapointe. Love him. This is actually not a minutia, but I think it was an interview or Kevin Smith later revealed it on a podcast of some sort. But if you pay close attention to Guy Lapointe's nose, it is a dick. There is a little tip where there is a hole, and Johnny Depp and the makeup person put a blue vein on the side of his nose, and it looks exactly like a dick. There is a dick tip on Guy Lapointe's face. It is a penis.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yep, 100%. And that is just the genius of Johnny Depp right there. He did that. He was like, "Hey man, do you mind if I enjoy?" And Kevin was like, "Abso-fucking-lutely do that," because he has known Johnny for a long time because their kids have gone to school together, at a private school in Hollywood for basically celebrity kids. So, because they can't really integrate into normal schools, and they wonder why nepotism is a thing.
Right.
But either which way, I always forget that Lily Rose Depp is, I think I've said this on the last time we talked about Tusk. I forget that Lily Rose is Johnny Depp's daughter because they look nothing alike. She looks like his ex-wife. And yeah, just, she's not really in much. She's more of a model, I believe. But yeah,
right.
I just wish that they would have tried a little harder. I loved some of the humor. Justin Long is like hit or miss with me. He, like, when he's in Dodgeball, love it. Jeepers Creepers, love it. But
he's great in Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
That's true too.
Oh, are you in films? Yeah, you may have seen me. Like, which ones? All male casts. Oh, like Glengarry Glen Ross? More like Glenn and Gary suck Ross's meaty cock while they drop the Ziegler nuts in his mouth.
Jesus Christ. You know so much.
It's a weird place up there.
It really is. It's so strange.
For anyone listening, that was off the top of my head. I didn't read it.
You really
I'm
didn't.
literally petting Barf. I was just staring at Erica.
He's petting his dog, looking me in the eyes, quoting Zack and Miri. But yeah, the other like point of contention that I have majorly with it was the fact that it's like, if you've ever seen, which I'm sure you have, like The Dark Knight with the Heath Ledger and Aaron Eckhart as Two-Face, there was like a whole scientific study behind that film franchise just in general because it was just such a magnum opus of superhero movies. But they stated, they're like, spoiler alert, if you didn't see The Dark Knight, Harvey Dent's character fucking dies. He's introduced and dies within that movie. But they stated, they're like, even if Harvey didn't die at the end of it, he would have died soon thereafter because his face would have gotten so fucking infected because he was out of the hospital. He had no coverings on it. He wasn't cleaning it because he was essentially walking around with just bones on his face. And he was just driven by rage and insanity and just fucking, whatever. And it kind of like, I kept thinking about that when I was watching this again because I was like, there is no way that this man is surviving very long going in and out of walrus water that has decaying bodies in it and not getting a massive infection and dying. And another issue I had was when they did the flash forward a year is that his suit looked exactly the same. Like, which then goes back to it being a suit, which he can get out of. Because if it's a suit, then yeah, it's not going to change. The skin's not going to heal itself. And it's not going to get any better. But if he's in a fucking suit, why are we keeping him in the suit? Take him out of it. And start to help him reconstruct his body.
And this is a movie that you've defended and you say you like.
I liked teasing you. Out of all my Kevin Smith all the Kevin Smith movies I've ever seen, which I think I've seen all of them at this point, this is my least favorite one.
Oh, you've seen Geely?
You didn't do Geely.
I'm almost certain he did.
Really?
Nope, thinking of Jersey Girl. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I've seen Jersey Girl. Don't hate that movie.
No use for it.
Have you never seen it?
Nope.
It's a drama. It's like, you know,
right. That's
obviously
what I'm saying. Like it's
peppered in Kevin Smith-esque humor, but mainly a drama. But I love George Carlin, and he plays the dad in that, so can't really hate it.
Did you end up seeing Kilroy was here?
No. So then I missed one.
And that's the one that you could only get it by buying an NFT, and I was wondering if it got out yet. And so
I didn't see that. Because I forgot about it because I think that was even a bigger flop than everything else. I mean, Chasing Amy is my favorite Kevin Smith movie. In that realm of like Jay and Silent Bob, that universe and all that stuff. You know, I love the Clerks movies. Clerks 3 kind of fell flat, as we've discussed before. Dogma is great. Red State is a legit great horror movie. I liked Red State quite a bit. And that's when I really wished he leaned into that side of him more when he did Tusk. Because Tusk could have been a really good fucked up horror movie.
I agree. It had promise. It just, there was a lot of holes.
Yeah, even reading it again, I'm like, this is why I can't fully hate it, because like the idea is there. I don't understand why it fell so flat. Maybe just because the funding wasn't there, or because it started off as a joke, because it was a podcast episode that turned into a movie and a Twitter campaign. It's like, if you guys want this movie, hashtag walrus yes or walrus no. And a majority of people were like, walrus yes. So he went and made it. And that's why it exists. Yeah. If you go to the end credits, which I doubt you will, you can hear him speaking about it on the podcast episode, the third act of the movie, and him hysterically laughing with his friend Scott Mosier. But yeah, I mean, those are the issues I have with it. I don't like vehemently hate it, but I cannot envision myself watching it ever again. I watched it the first time to watch it when it came out. And now I'm watching it again for a show because it falls into humor horror in some way, shape, or form somehow.
And you knew I would hate it.
Yep, and mainly because you would hate it. And that's the whole point of this podcast, is I have revealed numerous times that I just want to make you watch movies that you don't like. I actually just recently revealed that again on another friend's podcast. Shout out to Josh at Still Loading, who just celebrated 10 years of podcasting. He did an anniversary episode where me and him talked, and I re-listened to my snippet because I forget what I say as soon as I fucking say it. And I even admit there, I'm like, yeah, basically this came into fruition because I was like, I want to make Matt watch the movies that I know that he would never watch on his own. So I have an idea, do a podcast with me, and here we are, multiple years later. It's a really beautiful time over here. All right, with Matt's spirit continuing to be crushed, we have some monster minutiae. As previously stated, this movie was shot in 15 days. Quentin Tarantino was offered the role of Guy Lapointe, but turned it down, saying he dug the script and couldn't wait to watch Michael Parks let loose his internal kraken. Kevin Smith said in an interview that Tarantino thought he was being offered the role of Wallace, not Guy Lapointe, and that's why he turned it down, which led to Johnny Depp being cast. I'm very glad they went with Johnny Depp because I do not like Quentin Tarantino at all. I like some of his movies. I think he's a fucking creep. Have you ever seen him in From Dusk Till Dawn, just straight up sucking on Salma Hayek's feet? That is so fucking gross. And all of his films have feet in them.
Right.
It's just fucking
He's
gross.
very open about his foot thing, which I agree. I fucking hate feet.
Yeah. Like, here's the thing. I love Uma Thurman. I think she's a very attractive person. I love her as an actress in all things. I especially love her in fucking Kill Bill. And I'm starting to love her daughter just as much. Her daughter is turning out to be an exceptional artist, actor, musician, and all that stuff. You would not like her music at all, so don't even try. But I remember distinctly in Kill Bill 1 when the bride, because I won't reveal her real name in case people haven't seen it after 21 years, she is paralyzed from the waist down because her muscles have atrophied from being in a coma for 4 years, and she wills her big toe to wiggle so that she can kind of just retrain her brain to move her legs. And it's just, Uma Thurman has the ugliest feet probably on a woman. They're about 18 inches big, and they're just not, Google them. Look them up.
No, I refuse to Google Uma Thurman feet.
A quick Mikey snippet. So you know who Margot Robbie is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly by that response. Everybody's like, oh yeah, Margot Robbie. Or no, I'm sorry, not Margot Robbie. Brie Larson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see? Same response. That's all I needed. Absolutely gorgeous girl. Great actress. Captain fucking Marvel. You really can't. I've seen the girl. I think she pulled a Mack truck.
This is going to be bad. I do know who this is. Not who I was thinking of.
Who'd you think it was?
Brie Olson, the porn star.
No, I don't talk to my dad about porn.
I thought she was the one who, like, one of the ones who, like, got out and did something normal in their life.
But you know who Brie Larson is now.
Yeah.
Scale of 1 to 10, she's an attractive woman.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
My dad had the audacity to be like, have you ever seen her fucking feet? I'm like, Dad, are you serious? Because that's what's stopping you. That's what's stopping you from, going out with Brie Larson, Dad, is her fucking nubs. He is Jerry Seinfeld and George Costanza if they had a baby. If you watch Seinfeld, you're watching my dad's thought process.
That's awesome.
Like, have you ever seen Shallow Hal?
It's been a while, but yes.
Do you remember it's the first time you get to see Jason Alexander's character, which is basically George Costanza with fucking hair paint on his head. He is dating a beautiful woman who comes up to him on a bike, and she's like, hey, I forget, Mercutio. That's like his name. I don't know. He has a weird name. She's like, hey, Mercutio, hey, Hal. She's like, I have 4 tickets for the Beatles reunion. And they're like, holy shit. And she's like, yeah, you want to go? And he's like, no, I can't. And Hal's like, look at him. He's like, what the fuck? Why can't you? And it zooms in on her feet, and her middle toe is bigger than her big toe, and he can't handle it.
Evolution toe.
He's like, did you see the toe? And she's like, you have problems. He's like, why don't you ask her to get it like filed down or something? He's like, what? Then I'm dating a nub? No. And you look at him, and he's like a middle-aged, pudgy, balding man. And this girl's a fucking supermodel. It's just like the audacity of men is basically what I'm getting at. And that's my dad. I love you, Mikey. Either which way.
Yeah.
This literally started on a foot conversation. I don't know how we got here. In his tribute to Michael Parks, Kevin Smith mentioned that the fake voice that Howard uses while speaking to Guy Lapointe was entirely Parks' idea. Originally, as scripted, Parks would have performed a French-Canadian accent, but Parks didn't want to use that accent, having already done it on Twin Peaks. According to Smith, it was like watching 2 wizards do battle and you can't figure out who is the bad guy. And Parks was ecstatic over being allowed to chew the scenery around a major movie star who was also chewing the scenery. Now, chewing the scenery is basically just kind of going off the fucking rails and just doing whatever and seeing what sticks. Are you still petting the dog?
Yeah, he came back in here.
Okay, because it looks odd.
Well, I was also responding to a text.
Sure.
While you were giving your minutiae. Legitimately, my phone is here. Swiping. Shut the fuck up.
The first film in Kevin Smith's Canadian-based trilogy. The second is Yoga Hosers, based on a Smodcast episode number 288. And the final installment will be Moose Jaws, which TBD. I'm actually extremely excited about Moose Jaws. It's fucking Jaws with a moose in Canada. That's great. Like, just the synopsis alone, that just makes me happy.
I was looking at Kevin Smith movies that are coming out this year because we were just talking about this, and the only one listed on his Wikipedia for a 2024 release is the 4:30 movie. There's no mention of Moose Jaw or Tusks.
Yeah, because I think it's still in like a writing stage. I don't think it's gonna happen, but
well, I'm sure.
Here's the thing. I love Kevin Smith. I don't love his constant repetition of stories, but I do enjoy him and his mindset of like, you can do exactly, like, you can follow your dreams. He's like, I'm like a fucking loser from New Jersey and I became a director. He's like, you can do it. You just have to hustle and grind to do it. Like, he does not,
Right.
Hide the fact that, he was in major debt when he made Clerks. After he made Clerks, he sold his entire comic book collection. He maxed out like 3 or 4 credit cards to do that movie. And that's what put him in the stratosphere. And, Jay and Silent Bob, love him or hate him, they are part of pop culture and they are iconic. It's just hilarious to me how he is always nose to the grind, but he never has any money and nobody ever wants to like greenlight his shit. So he does it himself, but he never has any money. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
Like, do you not?
And I'm sure there's
invest?
there's probably a lot more involved in the whole aspect, like everything than we're, aware of. And that's why this shit takes so much time. But it is weird that no one ever wants to back any of his shit. And then he just ends up doing it himself and it takes super long.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like
Johnny Depp probably not making a whole lot of money doing these things.
He didn't get paid. He did it for free.
That's what I'm,
100%
and I'm
he did this
guessing
for free.
if Yoga Hosers was probably a very similar situation.
Oh, yeah, I would not be shocked.
That one cost $5 million and made $38,000.
What?
Yeah.
It made $38,000?
$38,784. That's what the box office is.
God damn, that's awful. Oh, well, speaking of budgets, according to Kevin Smith, most of the budget was used to obtain the rights to use the song Tusk by Fleetwood Mac in this movie. So there you go for that.
Shit.
Smith told his Twitter followers to tweet Walrus yes if they wanted to see their hypothetical thing turned into a film, or Walrus no if they didn't. A vast majority of Smith's following agree that the film should be made. When Howard describes the size of the great white shark over tea, he uses the exact line that Quint does in Jaws. 20 feet. Got 3 tons on him. The role of Howard Howe was written for Michael Parks. Writer and director Kevin Smith has said that if Parks had turned down the role of in the film, it would not have been made, much like their first collaboration in Red State, which, again, Red State, if you have not seen that, totally polar opposite of anything you could ever think of Kevin Smith-wise, and I absolutely adore that movie. I really want to rewatch it. I have not seen that movie in a long time. Justin Long visiting the bathroom and turning the doll away from him while he pees is based on a story from Kevin Smith's childhood that he told on his podcast. There's a cameo from Jennifer Schwalbach, Kevin Smith's real-life wife, as the diner in the waitress in the diner. The post on Gumtree, where a homeowner was offering a living situation free of charge if a lodger agrees to dress as a walrus, was in fact a prank post by noted Brighton poet and prankster Chris Parkinson, a fan of Smith who hoped to get in touch with him. Kevin Smith eventually hired Parkinson as a producer. Kevin and Johnny Depp's daughters, Harley Quinn and Lily Rose, play the 2 unhelpful clerks in the convenience store. Clerks, 1994, a movie about unhelpful convenience store clerks, launched Kevin Smith's career as a director and screenwriter. Bifrost, meaning shimmering path, is the rainbow bridge in Norse mythology that leads to the realm of the gods. Most notably, you hear about it in the Thor movies a lot, so Bifrost Road, that's where that comes from. In Teddy and Allie's room, where they miss phone calls from Wallace, a framed picture of Kevin Smith's dog, Shecky, is on the wall. I think Shecky is still alive, actually. That is his wiener dog. I have not ever heard that Shecky has passed away, but he might have at this point. But he had that dog for like 18 years. I love Shecky. Wallace's ringtone is from the Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman podcast, Hollywood Babylon. The song is actually a fan-made song created using Garman's impression of Al Pacino, which the second I heard that, I completely forgot it was his ringtone, and it made me smile because I thoroughly enjoy Hollywood Babylon because Ralph Garman is very funny.
Shecky died in April of 2023.
Shecky died last year?
Yeah. He was 20 years old. Almost 20.
God damn, that is long. That is a long time.
Yeah, wiener dogs either don't make it long or live for fucking ever.
So strange. At no time during the movie, including all end credits, is the name of the person playing Guy Lapointe revealed. Johnny Depp did this completely uncredited and unpaid, most likely, because there's no way.
He doesn't need the money.
The Gimli Slider restaurant's name is based on the Gimli glider, an Air Canada plane that took off without the full load of fuel it was scheduled to get on July 23rd, 1983. Its two pilots had to glide it down without power for an emergency landing at Gimli Industrial Park Airport. You're nodding like you know this story.
I do. It was that point in... What?
Are you like an aviation nerd?
No, there was just a brief time where I found there's a Canadian TV show about air disasters, and I watched a handful of like really old episodes to not fucking terrify myself about flying, and that was one of them.
You're an interesting person.
Yep, the other was about a plane that crashed in the Grand Canyon, but it was like from the 40s, so like hearing how they flew in the 40s, way different than now.
Yeah.
They would just like make decisions and do whatever they want. And they're just like, we're going to go up, we're going to go down. And it's like, cool fucking story, bro. Yeah.
And crash. Jackie is a huge aviation nerd. She like could tell you so many things. So that's why I asked. She is very obsessed with the MH370 disappearance. The Malaysian airline that disappeared 10 years ago.
Yeah. I did watch an episode on that too, because that's not anywhere near here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it really doesn't. There's a lot of things that don't make sense in that, but this is not a podcast for that.
Start the aviation cast.
Aviation madness. The inspiration for Teddy and the Nazi Party podcast comes from Smith's friend and fellow comic book men cast member Walter Flanagan. Flanagan has stated many times that he will never travel by plane and rarely leaves New Jersey for any event. Walter will be like, you guys go, and then you just come back to me and tell me. He's hilarious. I do love Walter.
He's a weird dude, but yeah.
He is a very weird dude, an incredible comic book artist. He's gotten weirder with age. I liked earlier Walt better. The name of Gregory Gumtree is a reference to the original post talked about in Smogcast number 259. Gregory was the original name of Mr. Tusk, and the post was found on a website called Gumtree. The name of Ralph Garman's character, Frank Garman, is a callback to an episode of Hollywood Babylon where a listener's email referred to Ralph by the wrong name. And yeah, that was actually, I remember that episode very fondly because he was just like, he's like, I read all these emails. You can't even get my fucking name right. I feel you, man. People still spell my name with a C. And last but certainly not least, because things are starting to get a little bit repetitive over here, Johnny Depp improvised most of his lines for this movie. I love finding that out, to be honest with you. Those are your minutiae. Do you feel like you learn more? Do you feel like you're more in depth with the movie? Do you feel closer to the movie? Do you feel better about the movie?
Nope, still hate it.
Okay. So now we get to the portion which I don't think the response is going to shock anybody. We're going to do some yay, nay, or slay. So I'm a little torn. I'm going to like nay it, but literally lean a little bit. No, I'm going to go straight down the middle and just nay it because I feel like if you're a completionist like me and you want to watch all Kevin Smith's movies or you want to follow along for the whole gambit of the Monster Madness podcast and understand what we're talking about, one should watch it. But would this be something I tell you to watch again? Probably not. This is a one and doneer. That's it. Just to have it in your arsenal. Be like, hey, remember that weird fucked up movie? So, nay for me. I think I know what Matt's is, but hit me with it, Matt.
It's the world's biggest EA. I fucking love this thing.
Jesus Christ.
No, yeah. It's the slayest of slays.
I should put like a guitar riff for Slayer every time you say slay.
Just fucking just the opening riff for Raining Blood, please. They're just like, yeah, we can go ahead and slay Tusk.
I'm doing it.
Please take out me making mouth guitar sounds because that Kerry King might sue me because he's a prick. I'd like to slay Kerry King.
Could, but won't. Should, but shorn't. Continue. I leave everything in anymore because we're funny as shit. to me.
Well, yeah, no, that's fine.
That's like when I said daddy the last episode, I fucking pissed my pants re-editing it. Daddy wants some soup. I'm gonna make it into a shirt.
Fuck. That's fine. I do really like
Fuck
soup.
yeah.
I know you're referencing a movie. I do really like soup.
I'm not referencing a movie. It was when you got sick and we were talking about door dashing soup to yourself. I was like, well, what if one day you were like, Daddy wants some soup?
Holy shit. When you text me about that, I had no fucking clue what you're talking about and assumed I missed it in a movie. Just piecing shit together in my head. Yep.
That tracks.
Don't drink and drive, kids.
Well, there you have it. You have a yay and a sleigh. Insert sleigh music again. And the final segment of the show, Does It Fuck? Matt, do you have any fuckable items for the week?
I had the all-dressed Pringles. Those fuck super hard. I've been eating these Yasso like frozen Greek yogurt ice cream bars.
Ooh.
Those are really good. They're like 100 calories a piece. I currently have the coffee chocolate chip ones. Those are really fucking good. And yeah, that's about it.
A boot.
Yeah.
Food wise, I don't know if I have too much. Maybe that pasta dish that I made with bacon and peas. That was really good.
Yeah.
That was surprisingly good. I'm not a huge fan of peas in my pasta. I'm not a capers fan. But this was different. I actually ate it before we started recording, so that fucked. Not food related. Cat Quest fucks.
Fuck yeah.
That's
Sorry.
I've gotten so many people to play that, and it just brings me so much joy because
it was on sale for $3.
Yeah. Well, I got it for free, but all y'all were like, "Oh, this is so silly," blah, blah, blah. And then you fucking played it and you beat the shit out of it and enjoyed it.
I knew I'd like it. The only reasons I waited is because I have not been sitting on my computer and playing that much.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to pay $12 when I could get it for $3. And then eventually one night I was just like, yeah, fuck it. It's like she goes to bed and I generally stay up. I play video games. It's like, why you fucking come in here and sit on my couch? Like, it's fine. Now I'm on Cat Quest 2. I had like level 23, I think, right before we started recording.
Yeah, I still haven't picked that up because I've just been too busy, but I want to platinum the first Cat Quest, but I have a glitch in my fucking game. I cleared all 52 caves and it's saying that I didn't. And I'm like, what the fuck? Son of a bitch. And then I think I just have to reach that. I fucking am not. It does have New Game Plus, but I'm not doing that. Yeah. But I also need to reach level 99. I think I'm like level 96. And it's just a matter of patience. And then I get the rest of my trophies. Jackie's boy, Andrew, platinum that shit very fucking quickly. And he's on Cat Quest 2, I think, as well. I think his friend is playing it as well. It's just a fun game. You're a cat with a sword and you do magic. Like, you really and you fight dragons. Like, it's fucking fun. Yeah, that's all I have. So next time on Monster Madness, we will be covering What We Do in the Shadows, which I'm excited about. I think I've only seen bits and pieces of this. I have very little recollection of it, but I do know that it's quite enjoyable from what I hear. So yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Monster Madness. Thank you so much for helping us hold Matt's hand through Tusk. He did it. He never has to worry about it again. And we are all very proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still hate me?
No, this movie fucking sucked. I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't want to watch it. I agreed to because I'm a fucking team player.
Tell me at least one of the things that you most likely said out loud in a point of anger while watching it.
Okay. I was watching it while it was like 8:30 this morning or some shit. And I
really
don't remember exactly. Yeah, well, I knew, like, I had shit to do today too, actual work. But it was when he wakes up and realizes that he's missing his leg. and I took my computer and I put it on the ground and I said, "This movie is fucking dumb." And then I texted you and I said, "I hate you. This is the worst thing I've ever," whatever the hell I saw. Yeah. And then I was not happy. So it was from that point forward that I started doing more work than paying attention to the movie.
And there you have it.
Yep.
Oh, thank you so much for listening. We will see you on the next one. Hopefully a lot better movie. Bye.
Bye.
Come on now, more margaritas.
Allie, you gotta help me. I swear to God, I'm not joking. Okay? I was abducted. I'm in Materila. This guy wants to turn me into an animal or something. He's fucking nuts. You gotta please come. Please, 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 please. I don't know where he is, but I'm somewhere. I'm in his weird fucking house. I'm like 2 hours from Winnipeg. I'm so fucking scared. I'm so scared I'm not gonna see you again. I'm sorry, I was such an asshole. I'm so sorry. Cut off my leg. Please. Okay, just kidding. Okay, call the cops. I don't want to die in Canada. I don't want to die at all.
Jasper, you fucktard. Stop it. God, he was on the fucking door frame, just holding on to it. Why are you laughing?
Because of that.
Okay.
Just because you're like mid-sentence and you just go,
asshole.
Jasper! God damn it! And then you just walk away. It's funny, right?
Jasper, I'm gonna fucking murder you. Stop. We're trying to have a professional podcast right now.